is your host, a man I trounced in an IQ contest, and everyone remembers that's exactly the way it went down. Here he is, to correct my behavior, Blind Mike Fury.
That's right. It's an emergency broadcast. By that I mean we planned it for 36 hours and it's a day late. We're 24 hours later than we usually do the show. But here we are. It's an emergency. So strap in, gang, because we've got a lot to discuss. Craig Ironheaded Coney has been with the show for a long time. He passed away. He's no longer with us. And he was a good guy, blah, blah, blah. But we have to move on. And Casey Day is back with us. Hello, my friend.
You didn't tell me about Craig.
He's dead. What are we going to do? Mourn forever? It's sad. I'm sure his kids will carry on his legacy, and we have to get past it. But as I predicted, Casey Day, Wally Pipping, Craig Coney, where is he now? You know?
I had to Google that.
What, Wally Pipp? You never heard that before?
No. I mean, I understood it once I heard it, but the way you say Wally Pipping, it kind of sounds like maybe it's an East Coast word, like something we don't have out here.
Oh, we're Wally Pipping. I like it.
You're Wally Pipping.
No, I'm sure Craig is alive and well. I just figured when you got an emergency show happening, who better than Casey Day to man the ship, you know?
My pleasure to be at your service, Mike. This was an important emergency. I heard the weight of the news all the way over in the Dabble versus adjacent territories.
Yes. It needs to be talked about. People were yearning for my opinion here, so we'll get into it in a minute. First, I do want to make a real big announcement. I'm sure everyone was panicked. BlindMike.net is up and running again. Thank God. Yes. Very exciting. So all of our links are available at blindmike.net. Wherever you get podcasts, you can support the show for free on Apple, Spotify, YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube right now, which this episode might only be on YouTube. So if you're watching on YouTube, which you most definitely are, then smash that like button, subscribe. You know what? Subscribe so you get notifications for this channel. Because sometimes we'll do things like not do a show yesterday, forget to tell anyone until after the start time would have been, and then do a show on Monday without really announcing it. So make sure you hit the notification bell so you always know when we are live on this program, and then become a member on YouTube or Patreon. You get bonus episodes. I didn't plan on doing an episode of Blind Mike Project this week, and for weeks like that, I couldn't stay away from you people. But if it ever does happen, we had bonus episodes go up last week. We did a Why You Laughing about Matt and Shane versus the Legion of Skanks, and we did a full. We dipped our toe in with Casey and David Collins last week to the Joe Matarese special, and we got through the whole thing, Craig and I, on last Monday. And we did find at the end, I say if you go watch till the end, because we did find a way to make Matarese's stuff more enjoyable.
Did you see Matarese with Kevin Brennan on watching parts of the special and watching his jokes and critiquing them in real time?
No.
Oh, my God. I have never seen anyone so unsure of themselves, but is also a stand-up comedian. How do these things mix in one human being? Joe Matarese, you're amazing. It's
what he does, and I heard Carl WATP was breaking down some old Matarese. He called into a radio show, and I remember this years ago, but I had forgotten about it. The only way I knew of it was like the porcelain documentaries, and they were talking about it. I don't know why it came up or anything, but they were talking about it the other day, and I was amazed, Joe. And you forget, in my mind, when we started talking about Matarese again, and he got sensitive with us and started like lashing out at me, like on Instagram and all that shit, I was like, well, this guy's dealt with trolling for 8 years or whatever it's been, and he's probably just sick of it. And then when I was listening to that phone call, I was like, oh, he's always been kind of an asshole. I want to give him the benefit of the doubt, but he's not that nice a guy, I don't think. So, I don't know. I think his special's up to like 1,500 views or something. So, go watch Mullets and Mixtapes.
I just don't think the narcissism allows him to see outside himself enough to actually make a true friend.
Well, it's funny. I think that's a very nice segue, Casey, because I think we're going to get into a guy that's a lot like that today. So, we're talking about Stuttering John, as you can tell by the title. And I am at a... That's right. I am at a I'm at a crossroads here because, first of all, I think the first comment I saw when I signed on here in the live chat was the thing I like most about the Blind Mike project is that Mike sticks to his word, and when he says he's not going to talk about something, he never brings it up again.
Oops.
But you guys, I mean, here's where we are now, where I was at a point where I do what all addicts do, where I'm like, I'm never touching this stuff again. I was high when I said that, I'm sure, but I was like, never, I'm done. Now you're at the part where I'm really hitting rock bottom. I'm doing emergency shows about the guy, for Christ's sake.
Oh, that's not rock bottom. I got a rock bottom. I got Blind Mike in a rock bottom. My God.
That's true. It gets worse.
Oh, yes. Let's just mention Cardiff Electric. Those are the only two words I'll say. But yes, there is a rock bottom. I've seen you in it, Mike.
That's true. But here's where I am right now. I want to have, and I take this very seriously. I was at a bachelor party this weekend, and while there was jocularity and merriment around, I was just staring off into the distance, contemplating my stance on John, because I take it very seriously. I want to have a different take on this Stuttering John, Kate Meaney stuff. Like, I want to think about it. I want to talk about it differently than we'll probably end up talking about it today. Because in my heart of hearts, I think Kate Meaney, I don't know anything about her. I'm purely basing my opinion of her on this last week of her being relevant in this pocket of the internet. It seems like Kate Meaney's kind of a shithead. Like, she pretends to be friends with a guy and just records him and releases salacious details about their relationship. Like, that seems a pretty shitty thing to do. It seems to me. And, you know, if you want to live by the golden rule, I would just say, like, I wouldn't want to be treated like that. You know, like if surreptitiously Casey Day or Craig or any of my good pals here were recording me off air, even if there was nothing there, I would think, like, Jesus Christ, what did I do to deserve that? And ultimately, what I always remember is, like, John does kind of do stuff to deserve it. Like,
It's the unfortunate part.
he is an asshole. Like, I would so have his back on this if he handled it even remotely like an adult. And
It's
there are
one
a
of-
couple.
I'm sorry.
Sorry,
It's
what
one of
were you
the
gonna say?
reasons we follow him, because he destroys our own personal ethics. Like, you can walk into the Dabbleverse with your own ethics and set of ethics that you've built through 3 wars and divorces and all this shit, and all of a sudden Stuttering John just tears it apart and you just turn into him.
Yeah, and well, what I always think of John is, like, when he says, oh, you know, even the mafia doesn't go after family. All these people are trashing my kids. Well, morals, John, don't evaporate. You can't say, like, I'm against going after kids, but then if the shitwayer makes fun of your kids, you can call his kids ugly and their mother a behemoth. Like, it doesn't, you didn't just suddenly lose your morals because this guy on the internet was mean to you. You know, that's not how moral values work. But I'm kind of doing that because I'm, like, in my mind, I'm saying, like, that's really shitty of Kate Meaney. That I'm looking at the asshole that she's releasing this information on, and I'm like, I don't hate that it's happening to him, you know?
Yeah, and she's 24 years old. Like, what is he doing fucking around with a girl half his age, honestly? Like, stop it.
But here's the thing, and for anyone that doesn't know, fucking around literally means, like, giggling with her on the phone. They don't
Yeah,
have
like
any sexual relationship. John wants that, obviously, but, like, it's literally being texting buddies with a 24-year-old girl. At least Belichick's getting it in, you know?
Congratulations, by the way, on that.
That's right.
That's a,
Yeah.
that's a
That was a win
W
for all
the-
of us. New win
Yeah,
for-
exactly.
Yeah.
We got hope, gentlemen. There's hope. Just win 6 titles or whatever the fuck, and you got a chance.
Yeah.
Give yourself a chance.
So I'll catch anyone up that doesn't know, because I'm sure at this point anyone watching this show is aware of what's going on with John, but I like to think of maybe a few people aren't as obsessed as the rest of us. So Stuttering John is in a feud with legendary Boston comedian Kevin Meaney's daughter, as you probably expected. Kate Meaney is a 24-year-old comedy club waitress who, for some reason, is on, like, Kevin Brennan and John's shows somewhat regular, or has some relationship with them. I don't know how she got involved. Do you know how she got involved in this? I don't remember the origin.
Well, listen, in these universes, you got tits, you get an invite. You get a StreamYard link if you got a gash. That's how it works.
That's fair. That makes sense.
I've been in all these universes. Trust me. There's a dearth. There's a lack. There's a small percentage. So if you got one, you hold on to it, like that movie where there was like the last woman who could ever give birth. It's like, no, she's mine. You can't have DJ Electra. Wait, I'm being a little specific here. No,
That's very fair. So yeah, Kate Meaney and John have been texting buddies. Now, again, where I'm like, hey, Kate, you tricked John into thinking you were his friend. What did he ever do to you? Step one in unraveling my brain in this process was remembering that a few months ago, John called Kate Meaney a slut, ugly, talked about her cellulite and her fat arms, called her a coke addict, like all this horrible shit he was saying on the internet, just publicly about Kate Meaney. And that's again where I was like, I can see why that would drive someone to record the guy, like, I guess I understand it at the end of the day. I think ultimately my problem with Kate Meaney is the reaction she's gotten where, like, I heard her on Point Dabble Point. I don't know if she's gone on any other shows since then, but my takeaway was kind of like, are we supposed to act like she's funny now? Like she was, it was kind of a shitty appearance by her. She wasn't honest. Like when Carl asked her questions, she was evasive on a lot of stuff. So she's free to put all John's stuff out there, but when you ask her questions, it's just completely, dodging the question, not answering, making stuff up. So that I thought was kind of shitty, and it just seems like she doesn't fully get the joke. Like her take on John seemed like just off, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And I mean, think about the last two sort of heroes of the Dabbleverse that were like carried on the shoulders around the street, like hero. One porn bombed John, and the other recorded his calls, possibly illegal. Like, that's why I say you break your morals when you get into this, because any other person looking out into this world is like, what are you guys doing? Like,
yeah. Well, if I explained it to the fellas at the bachelor party, if I took a break and said, guys, here's what I'm watching late at night. If I explained it to them, they would be like, oh, this poor man. Why is everyone doing this to him? Like, it's very hard to explain why this is happening. I think there's an easy solution to it on John's part, and he just won't do it. And that's the ultimate issue, is John is responding in the worst possible way. And there's a lot of ways you can respond to someone being shitty to you, being a shitty friend or being a phony or whatever. You can handle it like an adult, which not all of us would. If we're being honest, we can all admit that there have been plenty of times in our lives where we've been very childish and reacted to something, in a knee-jerk fashion that doesn't make us look good. But that's a possibility. The second way is you could behave completely irrationally, but then later at some point you would say, like, guys, I really fucking flew off the handle. I can't believe all the shit I said about Kate Meaney. She was being terrible to me. So I really flew off the handle there, but I've reeled it in, like, blah, blah, blah. Just some semblance of level-headedness. Instead, John, when he had 24 hours to cool down, did what we're about to get into today. And I messaged, this is how you could tell I was really losing it. I was among longtime friends, like the group of men I was with. This is my oldest group of friends. I've known these men for 25 years. And I am messaging Casey Day and Cardiff Electric saying, this John stuff is pretty crazy, huh?
A potato and a demon. Yeah. Nice.
So here we are after Kate Meaney says she's going to release tapes. I don't think they had been released yet. We'll get into that in a bit. But Kate Meaney says, like, I've recorded everything John said. I'm not actually his friend. Ha ha ha. He's a loser. And John reacts and does this show that I think is like, if you just watch the full episode, this is what, Saturday's show that he did?
The 23rd. The 22nd. So
yeah.
Yes. Saturday.
So he reacts so poorly in this, where you're like, boy, is it hard to pity this guy.
Yeah, this one's called Legalities.
Okay, so what can he do It's all there's never learning with John. It's never once worked threatening lawsuits. But he says one of these times someone's going to be scared of my legal team.
Yeah, I hope you're not worried, Blind Mike, because you're coming awfully close to getting some paperwork from John.
I dare you.
Oh, no. All right, here we go.
So, I mean, there's a lot going on. There's a lot of allegations that are being made by some certain
hold it, pause real quick.
high-priced-
I just wanted to, I forgot this part. The Saturday show was even more bizarre because it starts, it's John's intro music. Then it's the clip he plays where the guy is like, you're the Duke or whatever he says. And then John goes, hold on a minute, don't say nothing. To someone on the phone, I imagine. And then there's 15 minutes of dead air.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. I was wondering if that was an error because I was going to call you and I'm like, dude, what is this? How do I edit around this? And you're like, no, that's how it came out.
It's utter madness. Yeah, so it was 15 minutes of dead air, and then he comes back and he's like, sorry about that. Why wouldn't you just start 15 minutes later?
He was muted too, like talking on the phone for a little bit. So he's like just living his life IRL, but muted. So
I think maybe he wanted to build up a level of like intro, like you know how when the news anchors go off the air and they're still talking to each other, and you're like, oh, that must be important business. There must be breaking news they're discussing.
I just think he can't be alone. This is like there's people in the chat. I'm not alone.
Oh, all my friends are here.
Yeah. He's afraid of being alone. If I think I figured out some things about John, and that's one of the things. That's where a lot of the anger stems from, and he was deserted. So
that's again where it's kind of sad. It's like the guy just wants a friend. Like you want to pity him, and you want to say like he's just a lonely guy. He can't cope with the fact that his career is not what it used to be, or what. Like now he's a substitute teacher. He's not the announcer on the Tonight Show or on the Howard Stern Show. Like he's just kind of a regular Joe that used to be moderately famous, which is perfectly fine place to be. That's actually kind of cool. Here's the thing is like, if you erase the last 6 years or whatever it's been of John's life, it would actually be kind of cool to meet Stuttering John. You'd be like, hey, I know you I listened to a bunch of clips from the Stern Show. You were very funny.
Yeah,
that would be it.
The whole 6 years is basically going, everyone say yes, John, and he goes, no. And so that's what it is. It's just 6 years of that. And until he says no, it's just going to keep going because that's all the whole thing is. Everyone just wanted to convince him, be self-aware, see what you are. And he's like, nope. And here we are.
And like I said last week, like we keep thinking we're going to change him. We're both guilty in this.
Everyone is. We're all fucking guilty.
One last thing to set it up. John is also at his nephew's wedding. Which the day before he was late to the reception because he left the ceremony and saw that Kate Meaney was on with Carl and Julie.
So you're very much like John. You're at a wedding and you're getting pulled away from the Dabbleverse. Like you and John are doing the exact same thing.
They ask if anyone has any objections, and John stands up. They say, "Oh no, I'm sorry. The shitway is talking about me. Carry on."
All right, here we go.
Escort.
Oh, go back.
And
I'm sorry. Go back. So you see where this is where, like, Kate Meaney may be in the wrong for talking about John. Here's how John retaliates.
Yeah. Proportionately, I'm sure.
So, I mean, there's a lot going on. There's a lot of allegations that are being made by some certain high-priced escort. And she keeps on claiming that she recorded a phone call. Well, if she did, California's a two-party consent state, which means I will be going to have to go to the police department in her district. I know where she lives on Monday.
Yeah, not in California.
Have her arrested.
I know where she lives.
Simple as that.
Oh, hold on.
Twice her age.
There's so much there. First of all, John is I believe the chief of the hypocrisy police. He certainly has good standing among those gentlemen, anyways. And John starts that rant with, "There are a lot of allegations." So he's anti just random allegations. He doesn't like that. He says there are a lot of allegations from the high-priced escort alleging that Kate Meaney has sex for money. And he goes on to say over and over again that some guy paid her $20,000 to have sex with him, and that Jeremy Piven has flown her around the country. Now, I don't think that makes you... The first thing, obviously, would make you a prostitute, I suppose, if you accept $20,000. I don't think Jeremy Piven paying for your flight, taking you out and having sex with you, I don't think that's illegal.
No, that's just convenient for Jeremy Piven.
Again, John talks about what a celebrity he is. John is accusing Jeremy Piven of hiring a prostitute. So the guy from the Howard Stern show is accusing the guy from Entourage of soliciting a prostitute, and like TMZ hasn't picked up on this or anything. Like it's just John and us that know about it.
A prostitute whose father was a famous comedian and the mother owns Caroline Comedy.
Yes, yeah. no one's picking up on this story.
It's too big to be real. No one believes it.
Stuttering John, where she lives, on Monday, and have her arrested. It's as simple as that.
Have her arrested.
Now, she also claimed that she doesn't own a hula hoop. Now, I was talking to my attorney.
I mean, bigger than anything else. Guys, if you thought that was bad.
She's going to do 30 at Rikers, but a goddamn hula hoop, bitch, what the fuck?
Absolutely, without a doubt, she's going to be arrested. Let's move past that. That's peanuts. That's small potatoes. This bitch says she doesn't have a hula hoop. I've seen her twirl.
Is it revenge porn to show a video of her with the hula hoop? She's not naked. She is not naked. So I don't know what the legality is. So I'm not sure if I'm allowed to. Now, again.
Hold on. Casey, Google this real quick.
Yeah,
hey, do it fast if you could. I don't want to spend all day. We could get in the legal muckety muck, the muck and mire of all this. Google real quick. Is it illegal for a clothed woman to own a hula hoop?
My sources say yes, Mike. My sources say...
Oh, good. Well, then I'm glad he didn't post it, because that would be bad news for Kate.
Not in North Korea. Maybe he's talking about North Korea. It doesn't look like you can own a hula hoop in North Korea. Honestly, that's weird. Is he talking about North Korea? What is he talking about?
She claims she doesn't own a hula hoop. So, for anyone that doesn't know, John has some video of Kate hula hooping in her underwear. Wait, I don't know why we care about that. Like, good for him, I guess, if he cranks his filthy pud to it. But
it's so funny to see how you can honeypot John. Just get a fucking toy and put on some bikini, and he's yours. He'll tell you the N word, he'll tell you the F word, he'll tell you everything.
This, by the way, is a woman that last week he was not only talking about how beautiful she was, he was calling her a genius for how she pranked Kevin Brennan. She's a genius prankster. You know, a la Ashton Kutcher himself, always getting the celebrities with their wacky stunts.
It's not porn. Is it illegal? See, now I am trying to abide by the law. Now, if she thinks it's okay to break the law, then I'm not sure that, I don't really know. But she definitely is doing the hula hoop. Don't worry, Kate, it's saved. You can't erase it. I have it. So if somebody...
What a threat.
It's also like clear like evidence that his first thing's a bluff. Because he's spending, I'm throwing you in jail, and then 20 minutes on the hula hoop. Like, the first thing's clearly a bluff.
Great point, yeah. You'll be in prison, but more importantly...
Let's talk about this for 6 hours. What color was the hula hoop?
Why does he keep asking if it's revenge porn? Like, I know. What was it they say about porn? I can't define it, but I know it when I see it. I'm pretty certain, as a man that can't see, to be fair, I'm pretty certain if I saw a clothed adult woman hula hooping, I wouldn't be like, pornography.
I'd look at the 50-year-old man that owns that video. Why do you have this?
Ma'am, have you ever thought about Playboy, perhaps?
She ain't getting into Playboy.
He's smart enough someone has any legal
Gross.
background, please tell me. Because I have the video of her in the hula hoop. I think she's in a bikini. I don't even think it's live.
It's the goddamn Zapruder film at this point.
What legality does John think lingerie holds? He goes, I think it's a bikini. I don't think it's lingerie. Now, as we all know,
Subsection C.
Statute 214 says if it is in fact lingerie, well, then I will be in prison just for having the video.
Lingerie.
All right, this was called the F word.
Okay. So one of the things that Kate said, and it's been, I guess, proven. We'll get to John's new excuse later. But Kate's, and this is again where like I didn't love what Kate did. Kate goes on with those guys and says, I have recordings of John saying the F word and the N word. And those guys go, ooh, they're like excited about it. I look at that and say, like, boy, what a cunt. Like, you record this guy just to get him saying salacious shit, and now you're going to release stuff that could ruin his life when he thought it was a private conversation. Now, in reality, it couldn't ruin John's life. Like, what would be taken away from him for that, you know? But,
Right.
like, in theory, a famous person using either one of those words, that is like a bombshell thing now that's used against people. And all these people that are fans of Anthony Cumia and anti-cancel culture and all that stuff, like, you really want to take down someone because they use the F word? Now, this is again where I'm in a moral tug of war here because I'm like, oh yeah, John did that to all of them.
Yes, exactly.
John tried to get all Carl's shit taken down because of words on the Discord, and like John tried to find these things on everyone and use it against them. So it's again like I don't agree with Kate Meaney doing it, but I am like, is there a better guy it could happen to though? You know?
Right. And I think the best example that we can look at of this is the old Clippers owner, Donald Sterling, and his right-hand arm man lady that recorded those tapes of him saying the N-word that got him to sell the team. Like, everyone's trash in that situation. She's trash. He's trash. That's the lesson.
Right.
Meaney's trash. John is trash. They're both, like, we're always trying to look for someone that's better because it's like a someone versus someone thing, but they can also both be trash.
That's a good point. That's a good way of thinking of it. My favorite part of that Donald Sterling thing is when he went on Anderson Cooper that week to try to defend himself.
He's got AIDS!
Anderson goes, what do you think about your He's got AIDS!
It is the greatest moment ever.
Why are
we
you
covered
saying
that first in Puzzle Box early because it is one of the greatest. And that whole series of drama between them. And they made a show on FX about it. Go watch it. It's great.
Oh, Clipped?
Yes.
The one with Ed O'Neill?
The casting is fucking amazing.
I heard him promoting it on there. Maybe I'll check it out.
Blake Griffin's literally like a redheaded white guy.
I will say, not to go too down the road on this. I didn't know how it would be, and then I heard Ed O'Neill talking about it, and I'm like, oh, it sounds like he didn't play him like a cartoonish racist. Is that true?
No, it's really good. He played him like with a little depth, but Lawrence Fishburne, Doc Rivers, is also a great character. Just talks shit to everyone. Like, this is why your wife left you. Like, why? Because he didn't get a rebound and shit. Just like driving players crazy. It's hilarious.
All right. Well, back to the poor man's Donald Sterling. This is John responding to the possibility. Now, we have heard it, so I'll talk about it in a second. But this is John responding to the idea that maybe there's a recording of him using the F word out there.
She's not naked. So can I? Can I play this? Again, I don't want to break any laws. I've never been arrested. So I don't know. I was talking to my attorney. I mean, not my attorney, my friend.
That's a big difference.
And we don't know. But I would like to play it just to prove to all of you that I don't lie. I'm not lying.
Hold on. That's a great clip. For any Opie and Anthony fan, that's an amazing clip because he sounds exactly like Bobo from O&A. I'm not lying. Go back one second. I just want to hear that again.
Yeah, hold on one second.
I'm not lying.
To you that I don't lie. I'm not lying. And then again, you guys yesterday was saying that I use the F word. Now, I don't use those kind of words. So if they play something like that, it's AI.
Especially if my kids aren't around. Hey,
if she played, it's AI. It's not real. Because I just realized like like that guy that a lot of people are using fake voices. Like they call Perry Caravello and use my voice and it's not me.
Okay, so this is bullet one in the chamber. There will be a lot of reasons why it's not John, but bullet number one has AI written on it, where he's like, if you hear that, it's not my voice. When again, in reality, I would say, like, John, take this defense. Like, yeah, sometimes when I'm not recorded, when I don't think I'm being recorded, I say things that I wouldn't say on air. You fucking bitch. You were recording me and got me to feel safe around you. So I was talking, joking around and talking the way people talk when they don't think they're in front of a microphone. Maybe respond like that instead of saying like, it's a conspiracy. The footage is doctored.
Yes, and trust me, I've spent 2 years trying to get a Stuttering John AI voice. You can't with his voice because he's down here, then he's up here, then he's over here. He's all over the place. You can't get one voice. It's not doctored, it's him.
I wanted to ask you that because John says it's AI, and then he went on yesterday's show. He goes, I'll tell you how they did it with AI, and you're kind of an AI expert at this point. So I wanted you to debunk this if you could, based on your work with AI.
So John's voice would probably cost about $1,000 to fully do because you would need all like 7 or 8 versions of it. Calm John all the way to angry and violent John.
Sure, yeah.
And so and then you would have to mix them in such a way that they don't sound like off when they're mixed together. So it literally is impossible to do a voice that has that many sort of areas to cover. And so it could not be AI. The government probably has it. But
tell me if any version of AI is this simple, because this is what John said yesterday. He said, here's what she did, because I know this stuff. He goes, she got me to say a word like bigger, and then got me to say a word like nice. And you take the N from nice and put it on bigger, and what do you have?
Well, if she can then do that and then add it back to a call on her phone from a date prior to the point when she did that, then she's a fucking miracle worker, John, because that's what it would take.
Okay. Well, let's hear John explain AI to us a little further.
This should be his show. John explains technology.
John does tech.
Yeah.
It's getting really dark. It really is. And you guys have taken it a bit too far. And Kate Meaney has taken it a bit too far. Now, I have naked pictures.
Every sentence he contradicts from. He's like, listen, this is getting crazy. Guys, what are we doing to each other? You're playing illegal recordings of me? Like, this is not fun anymore, and I will release her nudes if it comes to that.
Doesn't even take a breath. It's just one breath.
I have naked pictures. I'm so excited.
Well, I can kind of see him still. Got to clean him off a little. All right, this one's called Possibilities.
Okay, so I think there are I believe what we're about to hear is, listen, it's fake. But there's not just one way it's fake. It could be a litany of fake Johns. And again, John, if you say the F, like, I don't really give a fuck. I've honestly heard podcasts. Like, it's kind of coming back a little bit.
If it's funny, it seems to get through the YouTube thing. If it's not, you get striked.
I say let it fly. Now, let's keep in mind, I haven't said it on this podcast yet. But we have played a clip when I believe Craig has the clip. But we've played a clip from 2 clips actually from the film One Too Many. I don't think it's AI, but it's John, clear as day, saying that word over and over again.
And who wrote it? Who wrote that script? Oh, wait.
It must have been some big Hollywood.
John was just reading what was in front of him.
That's right. Yeah, they coerced him into saying it.
No responsibility. All right.
Mr. Melendez does not lie. But if she's going to...
No, looking at me with that hair, how dare you say that, John? How fucking dare you say
I'm
that?
a truth sayer.
Oh, that is not a natural color that exists on Earth. All right.
to start AIing conversations. Now, from what I hear, she's claiming I use the N-word. Well, those are heavy allegations. Now, what I assume is they are taking some of my real voice and mixing it in or editing out of context to make me appear to be using terms that I would not use.
Ah.
All right, so every accusation is admission. So how many things has he doctored and put out there? Because no one else is thinking about this. But he's the first thing he went to, right? Like, and so he, of course, has tried this shit.
Yeah, John thinks it's like when Howard Stern did, Richard and Sal took like Dolly Parton's book and had it say like, I suck the biggest cocks of, but like, you can tell it's fake.
Yeah, it's like, I suck the biggest cock in the world, but it in my ass. That's not me.
John thinks that's what AI is. Even John's AI is idiotic. The I stands for idiotic. Even John's AI is dumber than the rest of ours.
Or let's say if she said that I said the gay slur, the F word. Now, if I were ever to do something like that.
Oh, hold on a second.
Joke.
Wait, it never happened. If you hear it, it's doctored. It's also possible that it happened.
Alcohol exists. May have happened.
Referring to Jeff Spicoli. Those dudes are something like that. But then I would immediately say, I'm just kidding. I don't use the term, but you know.
John, don't do that.
It's more offensive to do that.
But John, if the recording comes out, which it has, if the recording comes out and you don't immediately say, I'm just kidding around, of course, in the world we live in now, words like that are offensive. Don't say that, because if the recording comes out and you're not saying that, you're going to look like a liar, John.
Words are daggers.
I like the idea that in John's private life, he throws out like one of the two words that we all know would like kind of get you in trouble. He just throws it out casually and is like, now, of course, as we all know, words hurt.
But, you know, that was a joke from Jeff Spicoli days. But I wouldn't even do that. These guys are now going to use illegal recorded phone calls and then use them. I mean, she is, I guess, and because you guys are all saying in the chat that I use the F word. Get the fuck out of here.
Well, that's good defense.
Said, John. I quite frankly,
case dismissed.
Out of all these people, I hope Jeff Spicoli gets his day in court because he's getting dragged through this for no reason.
Bro, I'm just eating Cheetos, man. Leave me out of this, man.
Sean Penn has to show up at this fucking thing.
To show up in a boat, I'll save you, John.
Cardiff Electric, you're dismissed. Next on the stand, Sean Penn.
Next, we have a boner. What is this? All right, Seeking Counsel is the next one.
Okay, so everything in the Dabbleverse has become legalese. Like, people are always on guard for getting sued because John is always threatening lawsuits. So this is where we see him. He's like, he's looking for anyone. He's not just looking for anyone to be his friend. That's been well established. He's also looking for anyone to be his lawyer here.
But now that I think about it, if she's not naked, someone in the chat tell me. Let me go down.
He talked about this for like 45 minutes.
Ditka would know.
Mike Ditka would know.
Ditka would know. Honestly, Mike Ditka would know better than a guy in this chat. Listen, Ditka would know. If we were talking about nuclear physics, and I was like, hold on a second, let me ask Box Eating Dad real quick. Let me get him on the horn here. Why would he know the law, John?
I heard him say something like, sodomy, you're with me forever. I was just like, what world are we in?
Someone, Dicka would know. Dicka, you around? If she's not naked, is that revenge porn? Because if she's not naked, then how is that revenge porn?
Here's another example of John soliciting legal advice from not lawyers.
Not lawyers and people that aren't there. I assumed he saw Ditka's name in the chat at the very least. He's like, Ditka, please.
He walks around in the store and he's just like, wonder if Mike Ditka is buying vegetables right now.
Ditka, I need you now more than ever.
I always got Ditka on the mind.
It's not porn. So please, could someone tell me?
This was called Noble Plea.
Please, could someone tell me? John, it's not, unless she's fucking fingering herself. What am I missing? It's not porn. It's a clothed woman hula hooping. Why are you so nervous about this?
All right, Noble Plea.
Okay.
So can someone answer this? And for those of you who have watched my show, who have watched me broadcast, have I ever used the N-word? Have I?
Yes.
Ever?
Multiple times. In the Howard Stern show, I heard it myself.
Use the F word as a
movie.
A gay slur. Never.
Yes.
So Kate Meaney.
Hold on. The full zhuzh around it was, I believe, you bone smoking homo piece of shit. was the full quote with that word inserted in there.
It wasn't just one word. It was a series.
Yeah. So I want to give it full context. Like, I don't think it doesn't mean you were talking about gay people necessarily, that sentence, but.
And just as like a middle-aged white guy, you just never want to be this certain about any of this stuff. You want to leave a little room, like, hey, things were different back then. He's just so certain. I never said it.
But again, like, I don't like the people that are actually like trying to police, like, let's get John's channel taken down because he said the F word. But like, he's a guy that was born in the 60s on Long Island. That worked for the Howard Stern show. Like, he said the F word. Who cares? First of all, he's from a time where like everyone said it.
It would be gives a shit. It'd be an interesting like mind experiment to think if he just doubled down on the worst elements of himself and just said, "Yeah, fuck it, I am those things," or like he wouldn't be worse off. He might be better off. It's hard to make the argument because you never know. But look at Kevin Brennan. He doubles down every time, and
it's weird because. Believe it or not, I think John has the correct intention deep down in there somewhere. Where the reason he won't say those words is because he has kids that are part of the LGBT community. He has a trans child, and 2 of his kids are gay, right? Do I have that right?
At least 2, yeah.
Something like that. So, like, in his mind, he's like, oh, shit, like... I might not understand this generation. We thought saying different things was cool than they do now. I don't want to say that stuff. So, like, deep down, I think there's the correct intention at heart. But his way of going about it, like saying, pretending he never said this stuff and trying to go after people legally for saying that he did, is wild.
It is. And I think you've identified, like, he attracts fixers. Because there is some part about it where you see like maybe, and so like these people roll in to try to help and fix them, and then they're turned into beasts.
I think Vinny Paulino went in. I've never really talked to him about it, but I think Vinny went in with the intention of kind of goofing with John a little bit and putting on a live show, and then by the end of it was kind of like, I feel sort of bad for this guy, like. I think that there's something in John that is like sad and makes you want to help him, but he is just so like, I think John's at a point where any amount of therapy or whatever might not even help him. But like,
he'll just dox the therapist and look for nudes.
This guy said I'm a narcissist. Clearly he should be disbarred.
Vinny, send him a pizza.
He's lying to you. And whoever is helping her use the AI is lying to you. Okay, thank you. I could play it.
He just got a text. Just a random person texted him a thumbs up. And
no,
John's
Mike Ditka woke up and he's like, "Oh, I got to text John okay on this. All right, legal work done for the day."
Good news, everyone. Ditka says it's okay.
Ditka.
Oh, hold on. Israel and Palestine. Ditka is chiming in. I think you guys are going to want to hear this. He solved it.
And it's so musical. It's like ding. Oh, all right, it's solved now. I love that he keeps that bell on for all of us. Thank you, John. That's amazing.
Ditka has arrived.
All right, this was Mother Meaney. Now we get into the fun stuff.
Oh, my. Okay, so this is wild. I think this is probably what I messaged you, where I was like, John is having a meltdown.
Yeah.
Like, so, by the way, did you say Kate Meaney's mother owns
did own or owns part of Caroline's Comedy? I saw that on some sort of fact hunting mission.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, maybe she's not doing as well as I thought then. We're not a business.
Yeah.
But, so, quite frankly, it seems to me from following this case that the only thing that Kate Meaney's mother is guilty of is not having particularly good gaydar. But other than that, she's done nothing wrong that I can find in this. Like, I guess, so John doesn't like people trashing his kids.
You don't say.
Yeah, I've heard rumor. Yet when Kate Meaney trashes him, he wants to lump the mother into the lawsuit. So now the mother has to be involved in all that. Oh, by the way, John's mother's involved in this clip as well. So John is at his mom's house. Imagine this picture. John is at his mom's house, and Kate Meaney's mommy calls John's mommy.
It's a real sentence, folks. It really happened.
I went to Melton's house to defend her honor and her mother's. But her mother, quite honestly, is enabling Kate Meaney to become everything that she has. I warned her mother. Her mother doesn't give a shit, which explains why Kate Meaney is the mess of a person that she is.
Yes, that's right. Kate Meaney's a mess of a human being because her mother doesn't care about the Dabbleverse. John, I gotta tell you, my mom, quite frankly, doesn't care about it either. You know, it's a shame. I try to get her to watch this stuff, and she just never takes an interest to it. It's very frustrating.
It's the new mad, Mothers Against Dabbleverse. T-shirts are coming soon.
I gotta say, quite frankly, Carl's the worst of us. He said his mother was laughing at DabbleCon. That's not. I mean, that makes you wonder how this kid was raised. You know.
Now.
Okay, there you don't see it, Blind Mike, but
Yeah.
Mom walks into the picture frame here, just in the corner, and that's a healthy-looking 80-year-old, but it is an 80-year-old woman that's.
I think she's
walking into the frame.
87. I think she's even older.
Oh my gosh, yeah, nearly 90-year-old woman.
Yeah.
It has to, like your golden years. You don't want to deal with a 12-year-old girl. Ugh.
John, are you talking bad about that Kate Meaney again?
This picture is fucking classic.
No, Ma. What did she say I was doing something bad? She's lying.
This picture right here reminds me of every time she busted in a room and John was caught jerking off. He has that look on his face. Like, what you doing, Mom? You got to knock, Mom.
Nothing. I have a groin injury.
I needed the lotion. Why? I'm scaly. All right, sorry.
I'm on the air.
I'm on the air.
Oh, really? Okay, thanks. Okay.
So whatever his mom gave him, she gave him something like a note. He just dismisses it immediately, throws it behind him, and goes, "Okay, thanks," and then back to the computer.
Anyways, the dumb bitch.
Yeah. When are you gonna die already, Mom? God damn. That's the attitude just gave her.
I heard Cardiff make this point like a week ago. We talked about it with Patrick Melton, where John is against all this cyberbullying stuff. Yet John is the one who has broken down the barrier of actually showing up at someone's house. He went to Patrick Melton's home and yelled, "You coward," in the streets as he tried to fight him.
Did you finally hear what the jukebox was? I finally figured out what the jukebox was that he was holding.
Oh, do tell.
So his car does only have a tape player. and so he can't play his iPod in his car. And so that's the little stereo he keeps in his car to hook his phone up to so he can play his phone through his stereo in his car. But he didn't want to leave it in the car in Vegas because it might get stolen. So it's literally his stereo. He's walking around with and he dropped it. He broke it.
Now, I'm going to fight you, but I'm holding on to my keys and wallet.
Remember those decks, those stereos you'd used to pull out and it was like your whole stereo? That's essentially what he had. He had his whole stereo. And then he decided to pull it over his head.
So John is the one that's broken down like that barrier. Like that's kind of a, I wouldn't even say unspoken thing. I'm sure it's like in laws somewhere that you can't just go to someone's house for bullying you on the internet. Now John is also the one that says like, don't fuck with the mafia doesn't even fuck with kids. Don't go after my kids. Don't go after my family. Make fun of me if you want to make fun of someone. Yet he is involving, Kate Meaney is 24. She is an adult. 24 is like, I mean, it's old enough to drink, old enough to vote, essentially old enough to rent a car, right? Pretty close to it.
Yeah, old enough to hula hoop.
Old enough to, I mean, years after being old enough to hula hoop. And she knew what she was doing with that thing. She was asking for it.
Confused him.
So I mean, like that is well into adulthood, you know? Like she is a grown person. Mother Meaney is no longer responsible for Kate's actions. Yet John has involved Kate Meaney's mom in this and was up at 3 a.m. texting her while she's on vacation or something in France, is what I've heard. And John is texting her over and over again. And the Mrs. Meaney, whatever her name is now, I don't know, but she's not responding. And John keeps texting her like, "Oh, so I guess you just don't care." And it's like, yeah, John, that is what she's telling you. Yes, you don't have to guess. She's literally telling you she doesn't care by not responding.
I guess Kate's mother just called here and talked to my mom.
So I get it came out later that I guess it was Kate, but anyways, Kate Meaney's mom is involved in this somehow.
Hey, Mom. Yeah. What did she say?
She said that you were pulling her pigtails at recess and that you and all the other boys are making fun of her fat arms. She told you that? It's not true.
No. Is she still on the phone?
Well, you tell her pants are on fire.
Well, Kate Meaney's mother, if you're watching, which apparently you are, I didn't do anything to your daughter. Your daughter did everything to me. She attempted to get my channel struck. I make 6 figures from this show.
My God.
That's a fact. Jack.
It's not, but
that's a fact. Jack thing is really stuck. He's really putting that in everywhere.
More than stuck. Now he's using it like 40 times an episode. It's exhausting.
Yeah, it is. This one's called Arrest.
Well, I just want to talk about that real quick where it's like he's going back and forth with the mom. And then at one point he says that he's going to be suing the mother because the mother has a lot of money. And Kate Meaney doesn't have a lot of money. Now, I would suggest to John, do you think that every time Elon Musk has a distant relative that's in a legal bind, he's sweating? Like, oh God. You can't just go, who's the person in your life with the most money? Because I'd like to sue them for something you did to me.
Blind Mike, we are getting real backed up on super chats here.
Oh, you want to fire away real quick?
Yeah, this might be a nice little natural spot.
All right, let's do that.
DJ Electrify, welcome.
Whoa, hello, DJ.
Hello.
You're naked.
Oh my God.
You put your clothes on. There you go.
Hey there.
We can get struck for that, Electra.
Okay.
Yes.
You have to be hula hooping, and then it's not porn.
Oh, good. Good to know.
Do you own a hula hoop, DJ Electrify?
I don't.
Slut!
I've never been good at it.
Well, John doesn't want anything to do with you then. All right. All right, so go ahead, DJ Electrify.
Oh, I'm reading super chats? Okay.
Yes, that's what we brought you out for.
Emergency episode Still Gay? By Matthew Raleigh, $2 super chat.
Not when I do it, pal. Only when Carl does it.
And Drew Peeballs for $9.99. Ship a dog shaking his hips saying, "Thank you."
Thank you, buddy. All right.
Did you like that? That was my dog
Yes,
sound.
more of that, please.
didn't hate
more
it.
of that.
Kyle Lakey for $10. As the vice treasurer of NAMBLA, I regret to inform Craig that his dues are refunded. Reading the numerous charges, we firmly denounce such behavior. We are cooperating with law enforcement.
The guy can't seem to find a country, you know? He just can't find anywhere to fit in.
Dang Lizard for €5. Krager's is fine. He's cooking upstairs, and you're not getting a divorce? When will Krager's cop cam footage come out of the drug den with guns and kids?
Listen, me and Craig have been going to the Ricadas, and we're good friends.
Oh, no.
Everything's perfectly normal.
Just friends. And William S. for $2. Can't believe Electra is cheating on a hack ride.
Yes, I was, but only for a minute or two, so she's forgiven. I'm also going to take your dessert away tonight.
No way.
Oh, you too.
And Brian Vanucci, $19.99. The Duke is back. Wait, blah, blah, blah. The Duke is black in that movie, right? I'm not misremembering that. I cannot read. I'm pretty sure he's played by Isaac Hayes. Also, the line, "You don't mess with the Duke," is meant to foreshadow the horrible end he meets.
So you can see now that I am allowed to say the N-word. So no matter what tapes Kate Meaney has.
Yeah, I'm looking at Duke as different now. That's for sure.
Why do my gardeners have to come right now? This is awesome. I'm sorry.
I don't
Ding
know. Go
Lizard
ahead.
for €5.
Kind of a
Quad
subreddit.
and Kate Meaney think they're interesting for how they tricked Stuttering John. It would have been funnier just to end it. Stevie Lou is hated as much for Your Mom's Box.
Yeah, I don't love that. Kate Meaney definitely got way more of a reaction than like Quad Father. I thought Quads was just like dumb. And if you are trying to fuck with John, then Kate definitely accomplished more. But like, I just think going about it that way is kind of shitty to me.
Yeah. Brian Vanucci for $4.99. John's AI defense is literally the R. Kelly Chappelle Show sketch where he goes, "This piss is digital."
Remember that one?
And Reverend Shitstain Powerful Pooper
Ooh.
for $2. John's absence seizure today froze up. Wow. Skull.
Yeah, John was pretty boring today. You can usually expect if John has a couple crazy shows in a row, then he's just gonna kind of get boring for one. He can't sustain a full week, you know.
And
No,
Carol
yeah.
Dillon for €5. Mike, watching this breakdown get worse, but whenever I think, Jesus, he's a human, I should show compassion, he threatens to dox a dead man.
I know. I know.
The conundrum.
It's tough. It's tough. I try best I can, but
Like, if there was a god, he would put something like a John in everyone's life just to see how they would react and judge them for it. Like, he
Yes.
is the
Yeah, like,
stone. He's the
I'm
deciding stone.
I'm supposed to still be a good person, right? Like, even though this guy is
Yes.
fucking testing me.
Yes, he was the one we allowed you to do that to, and you did it. You found him. Congratulations. Welcome to heaven.
And John's gimpy Halloween hand for $2.
Oh, that's a big
So-
star. I like that guy.
I like it, yeah. So Fast Times writer's fault for Stuttering John dropping F.
They will definitely be named. You know what? That's a good point. Because we made fun of Coleman for this a couple weeks ago. That's a good point. It would be the writers at fault. Sean Penn could probably avoid the trial, but the writers of Fast Times would
Wait, but-
absolutely be dragged into court.
But isn't he a writer? Doesn't he go with the writers?
Oh well, then he's back in. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's a
Right,
hard
he's
one
back
for
in.
him. Yeah. Right, Electra, a few more here, Electra.
Tom for $9.99. What a great show. Fuck
you,
Stuttering
Tom.
John.
Thank you, buddy.
And one more for this round. Here we go.
And Will Heron for $5. Keep up the good work.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, thank all of you super chatters. That's really awesome of you guys. This is not the normal time for the Blind Mike Project, so thank you for
Yes.
being with us today. And
Much appreciated.
DJ Electra, you want to watch these with us?
Sure.
Is that
All
cool,
right.
Blind Mike, if she watches these with us?
Of
I
course.
promise she'll stay quiet. Stay quiet, you.
Yeah, don't try to be funny, Electra. All right, I know how you operate.
Just laugh at us being funny.
Okay.
All right, this was called Arrest. No, be funny,
Okay.
sweetie.
Yeah.
Mind you, Mary Ann Holford,
Kate Meany's
I am going
Just doxing. Doxing? Yes,
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
I'm
Well, now that you've betrayed John, no. Now that someone that's related to you has betrayed John, all of your information can be out there. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
To the precinct on Monday. And I shall be getting an arrest warrant for your daughter. California is very strict and is a two-party consent state.
It sure is. So go ahead, John. Where's Kate and Meaney from? Why don't you tell us?
Yeah. And where do you live now?
Yeah,
So
right.
California is going to prosecute.
I forgot about that. You left California. Well, he was in California at the time, but
there's
he
no
is saying
victim in
these things from New
California.
York. Yeah.
Are you going to come back to California to push that through? No, you ain't, John. You ain't.
I want to talk about a lot of the legal angles of this, but I'll let John finish first.
Kate should not be hanging around with Luis like she did last night. What she should be doing is stop it with the illegal recordings. Now, Marianne, I tried to warn you. But it fell on deaf ears. You don't care. You don't care about your daughter's well-being. I do, but not anymore. I called you to help your daughter. You refused to help your drug-addicted prostitute daughter.
I wonder if Jay Leno likes that he's heavily marketed during that John's T-shirt. Hi, Jay Leno.
Has John ever heard the phrase, you get more flies with honey?
No.
maybe screaming at the woman and calling her daughter a drug addict and a prostitute is not the best way to solicit her help. You know? Maybe don't throw in the towel just yet, and maybe she can help you at some point. Also, John, I'll try to put this in terms you can understand. You were on the Howard Stern show. Howard would go after all these shows, like, let's use Don Imus, although I'm sure his mother wasn't alive by the time Howard was going after him. But let's say Don Imus's mother called Howard Stern's mother one day and said, your boy is making fun of my son. And then Howard gets a call from his mommy. And she says, stop making fun of Don Imus. How do you think that would have played out, John? Like, when put in those terms, you see how ridiculous it would be, right? Of course you would. So why can't you see when it involves you? Why can't you see how absurd it is that you're involving everyone's mother? It's crazy.
Yes, this one's called Fake Johns.
Oh, well, I just want to say one other thing about the legal aspect of this, because we're going to get more into it in a minute, but as we said, John's no longer in California. Kate's never been in California. I'm sure she's been there, but you know what I mean. She's been making these calls from New York, which is a one-party consent state. Now, what I learned from the Mayor Curtatone lawsuit with Kirk Minahan is that even if found guilty of the highest order, it would have been a fine. And maybe I think community service was involved or something. Like at absolute most, if you're guilty on all counts and the judge really wants to make an example of you, there's no jail time that's involved in this charge. I don't know why John thinks the NYPD is going to show up to Kate Meaney's house. But maybe he came to his senses because he's not going to the NYPD. Now, as we sit here in real time, he is going to the FBI. He said that he is going to the Federal Bureau of Investigation to solve this Kate Meaney issue. Because he said, listen, if it's not illegal in New York, I need it to be a federal crime, I guess.
It's the ultimate Karen. Think about I don't like you. I'm going to the FBI. I mean, that is the ultimate calling your manager move right there.
In a sitcom or a movie where there's a character as dumb as John, you would say that it's bad writing for the guy to go, I'm going to report you to the FBI.
It's a Naked Gun movie.
Yeah, it's silly. It's stupid. John is doing it. John, you're making a fool of yourself with all of this. And here's what I've realized is, like, if he ever, I'm not on his radar, I don't think, really, so he'll probably never listen to this. But even if he did, he would listen to it and say, "Oh, you're delusional, blind Mike," and then correct my grammar or something. Like,
Right.
he would never hear that. And that's the most frustrating part that probably keeps us coming back.
You know, you can't do that on YouTube. You can't do that in real life. And again, if I'm on a private phone call and I'm trying to be funny, I could see me maybe doing a Spicoli line.
Oh, okay.
But then,
So, John, there's a context where you'd say it.
No, he said earlier he didn't say it.
Right. But, I didn't say it, but, like, maybe I would.
God
But,
damn
John,
this guy.
just live, like, there's a context where you'd say it. So who gives a fuck? That's fine. No, who cares?
I would have a caveat to it, and I would say, I'm just kidding around. I don't use those terms. But apparently, if it ever happened and it's not AI, there is an ending to that where I say, I'm only kidding. I don't use those terms. And Kate knows that, if it was ever said.
It's a trigonometry problem. If I did it, then it didn't. But if I did and it wasn't AI, but it was, then this is how I would have done it.
What a confusing sentence. Kate knows that if it was ever said. Well, how, if it wasn't said, how would she know it? And how would you guarantee that it wasn't said, but if it were, she would know that what you're saying is true? Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Psychic John, that's a good lane. Another good show, John. Psychic John, I'd watch that show.
So the clip came out, and I guess Shuli played it, and I think Tukey played it. And the only reason I say that is because they have been added to the lawsuit.
Oh, no. We should all play it. Every one of us. If you got a channel out there, let's all get on this lawsuit. Let's all
That's
do
the
it.
thing is, like, I absolutely wasn't going to play it. But then if he sues Tukey, I have to. Just to be like, John, it's so silly. We could all play it. What do you mean? It's not illegal. If something's out there, you can just play it on your show.
And every one of us that plays it, if it's a real lawsuit, that is more time added onto his lawyer fees. So let's just all fucking play it. He's just stuck in
If
lawyer
Kate
hell.
Meaney sends that to someone, or like that wouldn't be on, maybe, I don't know if broadcasting it is different, but like if Kate Meaney posted it on Reddit and Tukey played it on his show, Tukey's not going to jail or paying John millions of dollars or whatever John thinks is going to happen.
Right. And it's now become news. So after it makes its way through the cycle and people have already picked up on it as something of a news, you can cover it and be like, look, I'm commenting on what's already out there. So those guys are totally safe, fair use wise.
Well, you saying news is interesting to me because if it does, it's going to get laughed out of any court or FBI office, or obviously, like it's silly. John, this will never happen. You're delusional. But let's live in John's mind for a minute and pretend the lawsuit goes through. Now, I know I said it's crazy that like John is accusing Jeremy Piven of sex trafficking Kevin Meaney's daughter, and like no one outside of like this world is picking up on it. If John's lawsuit goes through and former members of the Howard Stern show are suing each other, that's going to be news. And what John is doing is starting a lawsuit that is centered around John using a gay slur. And John wants to bring that to more people's attention. To which I would say, I don't think you're thinking that through, man. As a guy, if you want to have a relationship with your kids and all, like if that's already kind of on the rocks, I think maybe you shouldn't call to everyone's attention that you say this stuff, particularly based on the little I know of AI, it's probably your voice.
100%.
Because I heard it and it does not sound doctored.
Nope. DJ Electrify, you're pretty expert in AI as well. Have you heard the John recordings?
Honestly, no, I haven't.
Oh,
I
see,
can't
we're
stand
all
Good.
together here.
You never should, or I'll sue you too.
Yeah, you stay out of the lawsuit.
Okay. I'm
I don't
Switzerland.
even, I had quite a few conversations with the dumb bitch, so I don't know. I don't know what's true anymore because I hear so much AI John voices now, and they're pretty damn close. That I'm gonna have to tell all the members of my family, my children, and everybody beware of a fake John. There's fake
If
John.
you hear the F word, beware.
Yeah, beware. They might be funny, and then that's how you know it's not me.
he's his whole life is like padding, like this protective padding around his prior actions, where he's like, excuse, and now he has to tell his kids, like, John, take a step back and look what you're doing. Just stop this. Avoid this, because it seems like what you're about to do is call your ex-wife and children and say, if you hear a recording of me using homophobic slurs, it's fake.
And if I use our address and your names that no one else knows, they got that somehow. I didn't do it.
Now, and you got to beware.
The Duke.
I'll get to that in a minute, but we didn't even talk about what was it? Integrity verification.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Are you aware of this?
I am. So his integrity checks on his lies.
That's
to
the
fish people
best
out?
one. So his integrity verification is he said this on his show. I didn't even pull this clip because I thought the other show was just so crazy. But he says, what I do when I first meet people is, for the first, in some cases, 6 months to a year, tell them a bunch of lies about me. And see if I see those lies come out on the internet, then I know that one of these people that I've told this lie to is the one that spilled the beans. So John, and here's the thing, the lies that John is telling them. So what it really is John getting ahead of the story. He knew that Kate Meaney was going to go on with those guys and say, yeah, John told me he's not very close with his kids. His oldest child he doesn't even keep in touch with anymore. His youngest is furious that John released that he's going to Harvard. His middle child didn't want to spend any time with him and had to be bribed with a new car just so she could drive to and from the dealership with John. Like, John basically had to bribe her with a car to spend 30 minutes with her. These are all lies that are like, if they're not true, you're just shitting all over your kids for no reason. So so let's say that's not true. Your end goal was that lies about your children would end up on the internet so that you would know Kate Meaney's untrustworthy. That's a great plan. But what it really is a guy who has kind of a depressing life, which, I think we all on some level have some amount of empathy for. Like a guy who's downtrodden, having an honest moment with a woman who exposed all of that. And John is now getting out ahead of it and saying, if you hear anything, basically John is taking a page from the Michael Scott playbook, which is how you know it's a great idea. Where John is like, I'll just flood the internet with lies.
That's what she said.
The point of that episode was that it was such a horrible idea because it was ruining someone's life.
But it worked for the whole first half of the episode. He thought he was a fucking genius.
And then John turned it off and said, that's what I will do forever now.
So he's done this for a while. I remember him doing this with Carl a while back when he was saying, no, I tell all my people that I meet something bad. Why would you tell them something bad about yourself? Like, even if your theory is right and these people are going to go leak it, why not be like, I fucked 2 Playboy models last night, or I benched 300? Like,
even like that's true too. Like, say something crazy good and then see if that gets out there. Or just say something like minor, like, give him your address, but a fake address, like give him something like that that's fake, where later you can just be like, oh no, I misspoke, or you misunderstood me, or whatever. Don't create that your kids despise you and that, like, you don't understand gay people and all this stuff that she was saying. Like, you're telling me that it was all a lie, and it destroys your relationship with everyone, because now everyone around you is like, oh, so he was lying to me for the first year that he knew me. Like, everything that I think I know about this guy is made up.
And it's a smelted Delta situation with John, because anyone that concerned with how much you're lying and how much you're backstabbing them while you're just like doing your thing and living your life, what the fuck is he doing?
Right.
Like that's all he thinks about. That's his monetary value. That's his value for everything. And
Absolutely,
so it's just clear
And if one of these people on his show, like if he found out that the Quad Father was giving him an integrity verification, John would be livid, as he would say. He'd be furious. And he'd go, oh, I thought I knew this guy. He was a liar. He was trolling me. So if anyone in John's life behaved the way that he behaved, he would go like fucking nuts on them on the internet.
All right, this one's called The Duke.
Okay, so this is... I think he might take his name a little too serious. The title that he has given himself, I think he takes a little too seriously.
You guys collectively are trying to destroy a good man in myself. A very good man. Never been arrested.
Well, hold on. I take umbrage with that. No. Collectively, no one's trying to do that. A few people, like again, I think what Kate Meaney did is pretty shitty. I don't think it should be celebrated. Like, I don't like that. I don't like people that contact his ex-wife or his kids or any of that stuff. Like, I genuinely don't like that stuff. And I think the majority of people, more or less, agree with me to some extent. Collectively, no one's trying to ruin your life, John. People were doing shows laughing at your show. No one was taking it offline. And then I would also say the few people, the handful of people that called your school and tried to get you fired, those people are wrong. But then I learned that was an integrity verification on me. You were lying about that. It never happened.
No one's as good at ruining his life as he is himself.
And that's the thing. Like, you never look inward. And that's where I took a break from podcasting for like 4 months. Before I started this show, I stepped away because a lot of shit I was dealing with, like mental health and my eyes and all that stuff, and I just had to get my head right. There's nothing wrong with that. And what I learned in that time is a lot of my problems were kind of my fault. Because I would play like the woe is me card. I would get very down on myself. And I kind of saw depression as like a safety net. I saw it as the only option. You do kind of have to take inventory on yourself once in a while, John, and say, why are all these things happening to me? I understand you think it's because you're famous. But again, as I always say, why doesn't George Clooney have these issues? You know? Like, maybe look at other famous people and say, why aren't they going on their show every day and yelling at Lady K? Why isn't that happening?
Are trying to destroy a good man in myself. A very good man.
Very good.
Some would say
Never been.
Who's ever said that about themselves?
no. I was going to say some would say a great man. Like, what the fuck are you leading up to here, Caesar?
I've heard people say, like, listen, ultimately, I think I'm a good man. I'm a good person, whatever. I've never heard anyone then correct themselves and say, I'm so sorry.
I lowballed that.
You know what? I did you a disservice. I'm actually a very good man.
Adjust your scorecards, please. Thank you.
Been arrested. Never got a DUI. And you guys want to destroy.
I think that was Moses' 10 Commandments, right? Never get arrested. Never get a DUI. You are a good man. No, a very good man.
Checklist at the pearly gates. No DUI.
I mean, that is kind of surprising. Congratulations, John.
Destroy my good name. For what?
My good name.
For what? You all try and up each other on what nefarious thing you could do to take me down. Well, I'm still standing. I'm not a quitter. I will not let you beat me. You will not. The Duke will win.
John, hold on. First of all, John, you gave yourself that nickname. If I was like the king of podcasting, will not be taken down.
I made that point last week. He gave himself like the 13th title in the country that he's a part of.
Oh, yeah. That's a good point, too, just because it's alliteration. But,
yeah.
But, like, John, I got news for you, buddy. You've been taken down. Like, people would look at this particularly from where you were, like the height, the announcer for the Tonight Show. If Ed McMahon was doing this, if Andy Richter right now was doing this, we would say, oh, well, the internet has broken him. And yet John thinks he's yet to be broken. It's like, John, we're watching you break. Now, again, you could point fingers at individuals and say they're not behaving correctly. But you have fucking snapped, man. You've lost it.
The Duke is a winner. The Duke has accomplished everything he has set out to do in life.
Okay.
And you know why?
Why?
I was talking to my sister after the wedding. We hung out on the porch, had a few beers.
Nice.
I'm going to tell you a few facts about me. You know, I walked to school.
Brace yourselves, folks.
I thought he was talking to his sister. Now we're just getting facts.
This is why I'm trying to follow the logic on this. What we're about to hear is why Stuttering John is winning. He's about to list some qualities about himself, some facts about his life. And this is why he's beating all of us in life, I guess. Meanwhile, he missed half the wedding to yell at you people. But this is why he's winning.
Alone when I was 4 years old. Do you know I was home alone when I was 6?
Okay, this better be going somewhere.
And my mother and father were at my grandmother's. And I was waiting for my big Bazooka Joe grape bubble gum. And they took a long time. But I was home alone. I was
I don't even understand the story.
This is his weird origin story or something. I don't know what's going on there.
Well, yeah, you're watching Peter Parker right now. Wait for where are Mom and Dad?
This is when it happened. I became a dabbler at this moment.
At the very young age of 4, I was a latchkey kid. Both my father and mother worked. I would come home from the house. I would come home from school.
Hold on.
And
go back just a little bit. But I don't understand the story. His mother and father went to his grandmother's house. And they were like, yeah, John, you didn't get the invite. Why was that somewhere they couldn't bring John?
We need to break from that stuttering shit.
Oh, sorry. This is kind of just an us thing, John.
My parents had those too. Like, get away from me, kid.
We'll be back though. Sure. Just, put yourself to bed. Don't wait up.
At the very young age of 4, I was a latchkey kid. Both my father and mother worked.
Okay.
I would come home from the house. I would come home from school and open the door to an empty house alone.
Okay.
Was there alone. Did my homework alone. Practiced my guitar alone.
What homework was he getting at 4?
Good catch.
Kindergarten
that was-
doesn't start till 5.
That was the whole story. Oh, yeah. Good point. At 4 years old.
He was talking to his sister, and then he was doing homework at 4. I don't know how he got there, but
Another long day at the office. Yeah, 4 is what, preschool?
yeah, you didn't get no homework at 4.
John comes home and puts on a pot of coffee. Oh, I can't keep burning the candle at both ends.
Starts rolling his own cigarette.
That's a great point. But that was the whole story.
Yes,
He was just like, when I was 4 years old, I was alone a lot. And like, listen, I came home from school and I was alone until my brother got home, I guess. Like, I don't get what that proved. I'm very lost in the story. Like, he didn't tell us what it proved or anything. He's just like, I was alone. And that's how I rose to Duke status.
He had to make up a bunch of made-up people, so it allowed him to live in this current universe he's in.
When they were swearing in the Duke, they were like, well, first of all, were you ever alone after school?
Did you get homework at 4? You're in, Duke. You're in. Only the Duke does homework at 4.
4 years old. Good point, Electra.
This is called anti-gay.
Oh, this is great. So there's part of this. I'm going to need you to send this to Craig for the outro. Yeah, you know, unusual episodes. We have a little outro that we play with some of my favorite highlights of this show. And I think this clip has something that is worthy of being in there. So let's hear it.
All right, send to Craig for outro. All right, made the note. Here we go.
I don't appreciate the N-word. I don't appreciate transphobic bashing.
Hold on, we haven't even gotten there yet, but those are two pretty good ones.
I was going to say, Jesus. Right
Who
off the rip.
appreciates the N-word, by the way?
Wake up, white people.
N-word. Thank you for always being there for me.
Tomorrow, July 2nd is the N-word Appreciation Day. It's coming up.
Oh, then egg on my face.
Nuh-uh. I have 2 gay children. That ain't going to work for me. It doesn't even matter about my kids. I was anti-gay since I came out of the womb.
Oh my God.
That's great. John, what do you mean?
I saw a dick when I was 4 doing homework. I was like, no.
So at the same time, I imagine they're probably around the same age. So maybe literally at the same time. Terrence Howard was in his womb solving equations and listening to himself as an adult. And around that same time, John was like, these goddamn queers, I hope they never get married.
It was my first thought. Quiz.
And listen, if John retracted, I would have given him the benefit of the doubt and left that part in the clip. He just says, I was anti-gay since I was out of the womb, and then just keeps going. There's never like, obviously I didn't mean that. Doofus.
Let's listen one more time.
I have 2 gay children.
Okay.
That ain't going to work for me. It doesn't even matter about my kids.
The kids. Hold on. Now I'm hearing that totally different. I have 2 gay kids. That doesn't work for me. I don't want 2 gay kids. Now it makes sense.
I don't even talk to one of them anymore.
No. One of them believes this is a girl now. Or a guy now. Whatever the fuck. I don't even know.
Practice my guitar alone.
Oh, we got to watch this again. Anti-gay.
I don't appreciate the N-word. I don't appreciate transphobic
you know
bashing.
What? Make sure you send the whole clip to Craig, because I might put that one in there too. I don't appreciate the N-word.
Nuh-uh.
Nuh-uh.
I have 2 gay children. That ain't going to work for me. It doesn't even matter about my kids. I was anti-gay.
There's so much there. It doesn't even matter about my kid. Well, that's clear to us, John. Your kids don't matter. I stepped on them. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Hold on. I kind of fucked it up too. Here, let's go back. We can pretty much watch this for the next 2 hours.
It's my favorite clip ever.
Yeah.
The N-word. I don't appreciate transphobic bashing. Nuh-uh.
Nuh-uh.
I have 2 gay children. That ain't going to work for me. It doesn't even matter about my kids. I was anti-gay since I came out of the womb.
Before it was cool.
My dick was touching mom's vagina. It's the only thing I ever want. Vagina.
I said, when I slid out of her pussy, I said, a man and a woman, the way it should be.
Oh, yeah, we got to send that one also to his children. All right. This one, hot dates.
All right, so this is John is talking more about his sex life, I guess.
Oh, please, no.
Now, I'm a young 58. I still am a good-looking fuck. I'm in great shape. People are like, John, man, you look great. Yeah, I know. But thank you. I do.
He looks like an Italian grandma.
should
What are you
see
talking about?
The amount of Tinder and Bumble girls I got now wanting me to take them out. Why? Because of this. Just do it.
Alexa, are you sliding off your seat?
Oh, God, yes.
You couldn't see. This is the one time I envy you right there, Blind Mike. You see that smile on his face, right, when he says he believes this shit.
But the only reason I included that is because it's amazing to me. Like, he is in this tirade. He's so pissed throughout this whole episode about what Kate Meaney has done to him, and he still makes time to talk about how good looking he is and how soon he's going to get laid.
You should see these chicks that hit me up on Bumble. I'm
Anti-gay and proud is his bio.
Anti-gay father of 2 queers. This was called Rattlesnake.
Oh, so this is where I just want to warn John that he may be poking at a hornet's nest that he hasn't dealt with. Because at the end of the day, like, you know, Carl and Shuli and Cardiff and Tukey and me and all these people, we're one thing. If you want to get into bed with Louis J. Gomez, it's a different type of crazy that I don't think John has dealt with yet. And John is going out of his way to name Louis here. Now, we've documented on this program before that John absolutely knows who Louis J. Gomez is, has tried to get on his show, has solicited money from Louis for some reason. And here, I don't point this finger often. I think it's subtle racism because he does this a few times. He keeps laughing and saying like that Kate Meaney was out with Luis. And I think based on like the era that John is from, that John's like, can you believe she banged a Puerto Rican guy? But I'll explain why John might not want to go this route if you're going to involve the rattlesnake.
Yeah, and Rattlesnake, by the way, love your work with the Christians. I'm loving it. Just keep
Absolutely.
going, brother. Yes.
Yeah, and her mom wouldn't. Like, I'm like begging her mom. I'm like, you got to do something. She's doing drugs every night. And do you hear about what she did last night? What'd she do last night?
He's on the phone with Chad Zumach.
Well, I'm not gonna. Let's just say she had a date with Luis.
Yeah, I heard that she's trying to get back with Louis J. Gomez.
Yes.
Yeah. By the way, I like Louis J. Gomez a lot. He's a good dude.
Yeah.
But that's gonna end.
John hates, so if you can't hear it, it's very low. But Chad goes, yeah, I like Louis J. Gomez. He's a good dude. And John's like, well, yeah, fine, whatever. John's mad that, like, Chad's not going to help fit his narrative. But John's like, isn't that disgusting? Now, I would say, John, like, you don't want your private information out there, right? So maybe don't go on a podcast. I don't know. I know Louis recently, like, broke up with his girlfriend, but I don't know what his real relationship status is. I just know what he says on podcasts. But, like, I don't know what his social situation is right now. Maybe don't go on a podcast and talk about who Louis is banging. Also, Louis has a young child. Maybe don't go on the internet and imply that Louis is doing drugs with some 24-year-old. Kind of a bad idea, John, when you want to be a private guy. So for all the crying you do about people doxing you and talking about your family and your private life, look at what you're doing, asshole. Like, Louis has nothing to do with this. And by the way, I've heard Louis talk as recently as last week. He did a Twitter space or whatever it is, X space. And someone asked him about like dabble, and he goes, listen, he goes, I like a lot of those guys. Like, he's friends with like Shuli and Bob Levy, and I don't know if he knows Carl or not, but I think he likes him.
Zenhauser too, I think. Yeah.
Zenhauser, yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think he's pretty close with it. Like, Zenhauser works for Gas Digital. So he knows a lot of those guys, and he goes, I think the Dabbleverse is lame. Like, I don't want to just gang up on fucking one guy and talk shit about him every day. So Luz has gone like out of his way to stay out of this shit, and John wants to drag him into it. And I would just caution him in that there are certain people that maybe, John, a guy like you, if you can't handle Carl and Shuli and Tukey, I don't know if you want to deal with the rattlesnake.
No,
I'm just saying.
No, I spent a half a second in the fire, and I was happy to just be like, no, I like this guy. Ball wash.
Yeah.
Stop it.
I think that way with like Kirk and Portnoy in particular. Like, working with them, I'm like, oh well, you better be ready if you're gonna go to battle with them, because they fucking bring it. And I think Louis has a little, not as much as either of those guys, not as much as like Stern back in the day, but I think Louis has a little bit of that. So if he catches wind of John talking shit, I don't know if it's going to go as smoothly as John thinks it will.
Kind of just depends on what day you pick the rattlesnake on. That's the
Yeah.
thing about a rattlesnake. Yeah.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
Well, I hear they got together last night.
Oh yeah, she's kissed him before. I
Oh no, not just kissed him.
Again, John has
Oh,
no idea what's going on in Lewis's life. That maybe he doesn't want that out there. You know.
And the way he's saying kissed him, then laugh, like the forced laugh and all that, he's so in love with Kate Meaney and so hurt that he feels like she's cheating on him. And he's covering for it. It's the psychological elements here of John. We see this a lot in our worlds where DJ Electra sees it a lot, where like she'll say hi to someone on a panel, and then that guy will fall in love with her. And
I can. Yeah. That makes sense.
it happens a lot.
Yeah.
And then we had one of our friends who was just where they sent the cops to her house because the guy got rejected to her. But like this is a plague of unfuckable dudes on the internet, and John is just a king of them.
I saw it a lot with Lauren Compton, where I was just tagged in like a couple Instagram posts, and every fucking comment in my notification for days was either it was one of two things. It was someone like negging her or simping to such a degree that was like bone chilling. It was like gross. I guess, or the third was just like, hey, nice tits. So there were three options, I guess.
Boobs, that's the third one for sure.
But yeah, like it did make me realize like, oh, like, I think men just get shit on in a different way, or get like, shit on the internet in a different way. But it is like, oh, women deal with a thing that we have no grasp of. Like the amount of the amount of times people gross human beings like John just ogle women on the internet. And it's like, Kate Meaney's fine, whatever. But like, she's a troubled 24-year-old girl, and John has sexualized her to such a degree where you're right. Now he's naming her sexual partners and trying to rally people against her online.
Yeah. And just as an example, DJ Electro, just a yes or no. Is there content creators that we all know with big followings that have slid into your DMs and been super creepy to you? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yeah.
I was drinking. I listen, I'm a man.
But that's how it is for every girl you ask. They're like, yep, they are like, we do not give women enough credit for being patient with us. I mean, yeah, they got their own things, but we're monsters, dude.
I mean, particularly, I don't like to be lumped into John's category.
No,
I would say to an extreme degree. Yeah.
All right, here we go.
I'm not going to, I'll tell you off the air.
Well, you just said everything you needed to say, John. You said they fucked. You didn't say it, but you said it. You go, oh, no, not just kissed. Well, we're all adults, John, and we have the commonality of language. So we were able to deduce what you meant. You're not as coy as you think. So, John, all the shit you say, when you say, by the way, if that's not true, like, maybe Lewis wouldn't give a fuck. Maybe he'd just be like, oh, John's a drunk idiot on the internet. Who cares? But if he came at you with all the fury in the world, he would have every right to, because like I said, John, no one would be there to protect you. Because if someone did that to you, if someone said, hey, did you hear John fucked Kate Meaney last night? And you didn't, or you didn't want people to know that you did, you would threaten, I mean, I'm not exaggerating, you would threaten a lawsuit, as we're all seeing here. Like, that's what you would do. So just fucking be careful when you do that shit, John. I know you won't listen to it, but I'm telling you.
He would go to the Federal Bureau of Investigation.
The FBI. Yeah, with John's logic, Lewis should be going to the FBI with this.
This one's called Recordings.
Okay.
Well, apparently she recorded my conversations with her. Chad, California's a two-party consent state. She's fucked.
Oh, yeah, she said she recorded my conversations, and Kate, play them all.
So I really like this. Listen to John. Where Chad, it's rare you get to compliment the mud shark. Chad has the right approach to this. Where he's like, Kate, go ahead. I don't give a fuck. Now, maybe Chad does look like an idiot on these tapes. Who knows? But he has the right approach where he's saying, go ahead. I'm me, and I'll deal with the ramifications later. But you hear John is obviously so embarrassed of what he said. Like, he thinks he has John misreads everyone. Where he thinks he's got an ally. He's going to be like, Chad's going to be like, oh, that bitch. This should be, we should all get together and form this lawsuit. We should take this bitch down. And he just misreads it so poorly. Chad, California's a two-party consent state. She's fucked.
Oh, yeah, she said she recorded my conversations, and Kate, play them all. I can't wait.
Well, Well, Cal. Cal.
What about our class action suit, Chad?
But I said the F word, Chad. I can't just play it. I have kids that are Fs.
Chad, you don't understand. My kids are Fs.
My kids are Fs. Pick that shirt up at the Blind Mike Project store.
I like
My
that.
kids are...
California's two-party consent state. So I will go to the precinct on Monday. I know where she lives, and I will get an arrest warrant at this point.
Yeah, I never said anything bad to her. So on my phone call, so
I didn't either.
Well, then
you're
what's the
acting like-
problem?
Yeah.
Chad's like, yeah, I mean, I'm not really worried because, like, what are they going to arrest me for something I said? Chad has the realization of, like, what are people's opinions of me going to get lower than they already are? Like, Chad shockingly has the right attitude about it.
A little self-awareness leaked into Chad Zumach.
That could help you, John. If you were just like, oh, what are these people going to think worse of me than they already do? But no, you're so protective of this legacy that you don't have. It's amazing.
Or that you already ruined.
Yeah, he's protecting the good name that has never existed.
He's protecting a house that burnt down just standing in the ashes. Get
Yeah,
off my yard.
he's buying a fucking Ring doorbell for rubble.
Gotta protect my space. Right. If it happened. If it happened.
Of course.
Thanks to the fiber. Sorry, John. OJ has warned me that I super chat you too much. That's my last one, you British cigarette. Also, you told me you never used the F word. I don't.
Except when I do.
And if I did on a private phone call, it was a joke. And it was a joke because I just watched Fast Times. Those guys are... So, I mean, if that were it. But I'm sure if I did that bit, I would have said, I don't use those words. I was just channeling Spicoli. But it doesn't matter. It's a private conversation. And I thought, and we would, if it happened, I don't even,
He's spiraling.
I haven't.
That 3 seconds might be better than the anti-gay thing. Where it's like,
It's an argument going on in his head. He has just not finished the argument in his head to release it to us. It's great.
it never happened, and it was a private conversation, and it was a joke.
Did on a private phone call, it was a joke. And it was a joke because I just watched Fast Times. Those guys are... So, I mean, if that were it. But I'm sure if I did that bit, I would have said, I don't use those words.
That's what the people in the Matthew Shepard case, they just watched Fast Times at Ridgemont High, unfortunately. And it was a damn shame.
This is like Johnny Cochran sitting OJ down, like, just tell me one time, Juice, what happened? And they're like, well, listen to this. And they're like, oh, we are not putting him on the stand.
Mark Furman said he should have said he watched Glory recently. He's like, well, you listen, of course you guys understand.
Channeling Spicoli. But it doesn't matter. It's a private conversation. And I thought, and we would, if it happened, I don't even, I haven't heard it. But if it happened, then I think they are, because it doesn't, there's no way I would do it. And it's all bullshit.
Okay.
So crazy.
So clear. You made it so clear. All right. This one's called Threat.
Okay. So I believe this is where John, after a super chat from the great Penis Wrinkle, John said that he doesn't deal in veiled threats, And then we'll see. You guys judge. I need a fresh pair of ears on this. Like I said, I have my biases. Does John get into a veiled threat by the end of this clip?
Maybe he just doesn't know what veiled means.
You're right, because this is an out-and-out threat. But
The Veiled Threat show is back in the air. Really? Veiled Threat? Penis Wrinkle. Are you going to use your Mob Connect to put a hit on Meaney? Nah. Listen, I hate to say this. I think Kate Meaney will be dead before she's 27.
Jesus Christ.
Wow.
I guess he's got her in his Deadpool.
listen, first of all, I want to say a couple of things here in consecutive order. I want to say that I do not deal in veiled threats. That's not what I'm about. And I think Kate Meaney will die within the year.
That bitch will be worm food. But no threats.
I hate to say this.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
He hates to say it too. He hates
Oh, it hurts.
burns him up.
I think Kate Meaney will be dead before she's 27. I seriously mean that. And I'm not saying like
It's such a nice thing. It's a nice thing to say to a woman whose father died young. You know, just a dick. Just a dick thing to say, you know? You're gonna die young like your gay father. Like
By the way,
he looks
whose father he knows.
yeah.
by me. I'm saying by an overdose.
Well,
okay,
thank
okay.
God.
Phew. We dodged a bullet there. We thought you were a psycho.
You would think we edited that, like put together where he says, "I don't deal in veiled threats. Kate Meaney's going to die before she's 27." those are literally. We didn't even cut out silence.
Well,
That's
technically-
back-to-back comments.
But he is correct. He doesn't deal in veiled threats. It's just she's gonna die. It's
Straight
like,
up.
It's factual threats.
He does that a few times where he well, I mean, we've heard him do it a million times with like the violence stuff, where he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna show up at your house, Lady K, and you better be careful, because I'm gonna beat your ass in the ring, of course." It's like, who do you think that's fooling, John? We're not all children.
Two-party state. Here we go.
Okay, so this is great where John's going to talk about the two-party consent law. As you guys may have deduced, Kate Meaney's in New York. John was in California. The law would apply where Kate Meaney is calling him from, where the call is being recorded. But John is going to tell us otherwise here.
Yes, and California often spends lots of money on a ridiculous case for someone that doesn't even live in the state anymore. So.
Every day they call all the other 49 states and say, "You got anyone we could protect with this law?"
You should see the people they are releasing out the state. They're straight up murderers and like people that will really harm you. Like they just let them out every day.
It's a new form of sanctuary state where California is taking in people that illegally record stunt boys from radio shows.
Come on over, Bubba. Bubba the Love Sponge. That's a Bubba the Love Sponge joke. He recorded his friend. Anyway.
Trickle,
Oh,
you
that's
don't
right.
know the law. It doesn't matter. I am in California. It doesn't matter what New York is.
Well,
If you call someone who's in California, or if California calls you, California is a two-party consent state.
Hello, California. If California calls you.
Yeah, trust me, John. California ain't calling you back, man.
Excuse me, California, you better not be recording this.
You know the great thing about California, and I hope this for John, is that California is a real stickler about you selling stock once you move out of the state. And so, John, please sell some stock out of the state, because then California hunts you down and double taxes your stock sales. So,
No,
sell some
I
stock.
am protected by the two-party consent law. I did not consent to being taxed.
Everyone tell John to sell some stock, please.
It works both ways. So I already looked into the law. I already consulted an attorney. You're an idiot. Shut the fuck up.
John, I feel like such a fool continuing to give you advice because you're not going to listen to it. But stop calling people an idiot when they suggest this stuff. Particularly if you have no fucking idea what you're talking about. Now, again, what's crazy is days into this, like what I would say in this situation, and I'm not saying you should follow me, I'm just giving my 2 cents on the whole thing. If I flew off the handle and was like, fuck you, I know the law. I know that I live in a two-party consent state, and even if that bitch was recording me from New York, I'm protected. If I really flew off the handle like that, once enough people told me how wrong I was, I would come back on the next show and say, boy, am I a fucking moron. I guess I was way off on that. But John will never do that, even when he's told repeatedly that this is not true.
No, and he has one answer for all those times, and that's it. All pencils have erasers, Mike. Come on.
That's true. I saw on Reddit someone said, someone just put a title up of, Ma, I need some new erasers, which I thought was very funny.
Mom, pull your shirt up. I need some erasers. Hey, that's a titty joke.
Wendy's.
Oh, Trump call. This is the Trump call.
Okay, so someone very wisely points out that John John, if you don't remember, I don't blame you, but John prank called Donald Trump in 2018. It's his most recent, like, real claim to fame. It got a lot of news because people like talking about Trump and making him look foolish. So John prank called Donald Trump. Nothing really came out of it, but the impressive part was just that he got through to talk to the president while he was on Air Force One. And in recent years, because this has come up, I forget the context of it coming up again, but John recently said, well, no, what I did was, I know California is a two-party consent state. What I did was call my friend in New York. It's unbelievable that he used that as the state. I called my friend in New York and had them record it. So the recording was done in New York. Therefore, ipso facto, no double jeopardy. So John thinks he got out of it that way. This is him talking about the Trump call from his point of view.
His cat. Thanks for the $5. You recorded the Trump call through New York, correct? Because you said New York is a one-party state. That's why you couldn't get in trouble. Here's the thing. Let's say I did commit a crime. If Donald Trump, well, first of all, the call was
not a good way to start.
Let's say I did do it. First of all, back up, everyone.
Fine. Perhaps I'm guilty of a crime.
Jesus. No wonder a lawyer cannot touch this guy. He cannot help but plead guilty in the first 2 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
That's the other thing I would say is like, hey, Kate Meaney, I saw she was like deleting tweets and stuff. I don't know what the hell's going on. I think she's a very troubled girl, it seems. But like Kate Meaney, if you're worried about a lawsuit, or Tukey and Shuli, I'm sure you guys are sweating because you're named in this. I would just say that I listened to John's show today, and that a man being advised by a lawyer wouldn't start his show for the third day in a row calling the defendant a high-class prostitute.
Yes, that's not going to work out for you.
New York.
I don't think so.
Donald Trump wasn't in California. Donald Trump was not in any state. He was on Air Force One. There are no laws about Air Force One. Therefore, no laws.
It's in the sky. It's lawless. So, John,
check the sky laws.
go back a little bit because I want to make sure I'm hearing John correctly. John, you're saying that if Donald Trump, let's just throw molested a 9-year-old on Air Force One, when he lands, the pilot would be like, well, there's nothing I can do. We were in the sky.
No, it's a Kragers. How'd you get on Air Force One? Kragers! All right, sorry.
That was fun.
California.
No laws apply up in the air.
No, it's like out in the middle of the ocean, finders keepers. Hey, is this a child? Mine. Mine's.
You can do anything you want to someone in a plane once it's taken off.
Trump was not in any state. He was on Air Force One. There are no laws about Air Force One. Therefore, no laws were broken. Nice try, but swing and a miss.
Mensa.
Listen. These liberals are trying to take down Trump for murdering his pilot. They were in the sky. What are we going to do?
I'm not going to outsmart this.
No,
That's why I had it recorded in New York, dummy.
Wait, what? Didn't he just... Wait, what? He just recorded in New York. That's Kate Meaney's whole point. She recorded in New York. God damn.
Casey, you're onto something.
God damn.
It takes a real quick mind to deduce what you just figured out. Yeah, his whole stance is, yeah, but I recorded it in New York and Trump was in the sky. So therefore I'm innocent. But listen. No, sorry, go ahead.
But sometimes, Mike, kindergartners get it when Princeton physicians don't. Don't you understand? Because it's right in front of their face, Mike.
I heard that one today.
Oh, my God. I pissed myself laughing on that.
That was so annoying. If you don't know what Casey's talking about, John put out, he's like, hey, don't look this up. I'm just going to ask you a question. He's saying it to the audience. What is more powerful than God, more evil than Satan?
If you eat it, you'll die.
People with money don't have it, and people with no money have it. And if you eat it, you'll die. And the answer was nothing. Nothing. There's nothing like that. And John's point was that some of the greatest students from Ivy League schools couldn't answer that question, but kindergartners can. And my reply to John would be, but there wasn't an answer. So in reality, everyone gets it right. An adult is just saying, geez, I can't figure it out because you've sent them on a wild goose chase. And a kid is like, no, I don't know, nothing. Fucking moron.
Yeah, he tried to make it all religious too.
Yeah.
The
So,
day
anyways, oh no, sorry.
No, go ahead, Mike.
But John's saying that he was innocent in the Trump call, but that doesn't mean Kate Meaney wasn't innocent, right?
Correct. And this one's called hypocrisy, which is what we're just talking about.
Mike's shitty internet provider. Thanks, $2. What about the Trump call you made from California? It was recorded in New York.
Okay. Wait. But so was Kate Meaney's call, right?
God damn, you're astute, Mike. You got it.
I'm a real gumshoe.
You got it.
I think I've cracked this case. John's a moron.
Sherlock goddamn Holmes over here.
I couldn't believe that when he said that second one where he's like, you idiot. It was recorded in New York. That's why it wasn't illegal.
Yeah, we've had this thing called podcast amnesia. We do a lot of shows and we forget what we say after the show, but never the sentence before.
It's why, and he's done it. And how many clips that we've played so far? It's crazy.
Yeah, we should maybe start thinking about a neuro. You're a nurse, DJ Electra. Does he have some sort of problems here that we in the brain? Like he can't remember what he just said a second ago.
Yes, definitely has problems in the brain.
Alcohol.
Yes, I diagnosed that.
Wet brain? Is that a medical diagnosis?
I believe it is. Yes, Mike.
Short Fridays. They're only illegal if she was also in Cali. Untrue. You guys don't know the law. Film director, have you used the F word in jokes recently? No. Not recently.
Not recently.
And if I did,
it was someone else's joke.
this one's called panicking, and this is absolutely him panicking.
Yeah, so I think this might be where he realizes, like, what the fuck? What the fuck is happening?
DJ Q, you're panicking. It's so funny. Panicking about what? Gives a fuck what I said in a private conversation. I'm not running for president. G Crew, thanks for $2. Why did you use the F slur on that phone call? I don't believe I did. That's the first thing. I don't use those. I don't use those words. And if I did, I definitely said I don't use those words. And I think it's AI. And I think it's you guys are just lying about it. But you guys lie about everything.
Okay. John.
If I did, I was channeling Jeff Spicoli.
Here we go.
I want Sean Penn to
I
be
just
part of
got
his
done.
lawsuit so badly.
Yes, Spicoli is taking some shots today.
Rewatching Fast Times. So it was in my head.
I gotta get it out. I just gotta. Thank God he didn't watch Django. Jesus Christ.
Oh, Jesus, man. All right, so we got some super chats here we can catch up on, and then we got another video real quick.
All right, let's do that.
DJ Electrify, there you go.
Tuan Tan for $4.99. Mike, I don't know why you keep mentioning other people. You've been alone this stream and streaming a black screen.
Yes, we are all
no.
figments. Yeah, we're all figments of your imagination, Ryan. I'm sorry.
No.
Yeah.
You are not real.
Val for $9.99. If Kate didn't betray him, do you think John would have called mom for Kate's well-being?
That's a great point. Where was John? When he was calling her a genius and so cute and saying she had the cutest laugh. These are all things a 58-year-old man said about a 24-year-old girl, that her laugh was really cute. Where was he then, seeking help for her? That's where it seemed more, and this is just one man's opinion. It seemed more like he was trying to bang her.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes.
DJ Electrify, you have a child that's the age of Kate Mead, roughly. If there was a 58-year-old woman on the internet yelling about your child being a high-priced male prostitute, how would that make you feel?
Just gross. Just
Would you
he should
would you
not
text?
even be
Would you make sure to
talking
text him back right away though?
God.
Would you talk to his mother? That's really what I'm asking you.
Yes, I
Okay.
would call his mother.
All
We
right,
would have
here's
to have a
another.
mother's conversation.
Here's another one.
Matthew Raleigh for $5. Any reaction to Carl stabbing you in the back this weekend? More to come on Who Are These Socials this Thursday when YouTube tells me it is on.
Oh yes, he did. As a matter of fact,
What happened?
that weasel. I'm not aware. The show is called "Who Are These Podcasts?" Is that correct?
Correct.
I'm not aware of any podcast that Daniel Alexander is on. This son of a bitch, this floozy, trotting Daniel Alexander all over town. Carl played Woke Dad. Because it's important, Carl brought Missy B on to see if Daniel Alexander was a narcissist, which is an important step in determining someone's narcissism. Like I remember in therapy, they said, all right, Mike, now we're going to bring in a woman who dated both Preston and Steve. You just bring in some lady that's dating a shock jock, and she determines if the person's a narcissist. So it was important work, I admit, but no.
She's gonna know. I mean, she might know. She's been around a few.
She might know. No. I like. I will admit, I like the word of Daniel Alexander being spread because he's a fascinating guy to watch.
Excellent. All right, here we go.
Milk John's mom for $5. You, Carl, and Shuli are on the Mount Rushmore of breaking down Stuttering John material.
Absolutely.
Just an honor to be mentioned in that high esteem. Thank you.
Dang Lizard for €2. So Craig's pedo story was integrity verification?
Just wanted to see if I would lie, and I failed.
Got to put out better stories, Gregors. All right, here you go.
And Mike Larson for $2.99. Oh, imagine this is your dad. Holy fark. Stuttering John blows goats.
That would be so wild if your dad was doing this.
How much do you think any of the kid or the wife could get right now for an interview with Carl or Shuli?
Oh boy,
10 grand?
I would think they would ease if they said, "Hey, like, no questions off limits." I don't know their perspective, but I would imagine 10 grand might be low of what they will be willing to offer.
Wow.
Right. Like their pain and suffering is worth way more than that. Absolutely.
Yeah.
50 grand at least. All right.
And
All right,
Chef
fine.
Lewis for $4.99. Thank you for giving Craig the night off. Very good show live at 8. Extra show prep should make it great.
Yeah, I figured I didn't want to step on the toes of a very good show, and Craig always puts such work into that I didn't want to take away from that time.
There's no evidence of that at all. I've seen the show.
I'm telling you, he really rolls up his shirt sleeves.
It's a good show. Go watch it.
Yes, yeah, very good show tonight at 8.
Deitois for $4.99. As a blind black man, I want you to know what an inspiration you are.
Well, if that's true, I'm honored to hear that. I'm glad we have some blind viewers.
Milk John's mom for $5. You understand the risk of doing this video. You might end up on a list of people John is going to personally visit.
Oh
That's
no!
true. That's
What
true.
if that happened?
You're not going to see it coming, Blind Mike. Hey.
Oh, would that be so great? Based on like where I live too, someone else would have to probably let me know. Like, hey, there's a guy screaming in the front yard.
Hey, do you know a guy with a boombox? All right, go ahead, DJ.
Do you want to read this one? I think I'm going to screw it up.
All right, Chef Lewis for $4.99 says, "Stay cool in the heat wave. Say defrau, box eating dad. Defrau.
What is that?
I like boxing dead, but I'm not sure what that means.
Me
Yeah,
neither.
boxing. Yeah. Oh, that's Chef Louis. So, Chef Lewis, give us another super chat and explain yourself. Thank you.
Thank you, buddy.
No,
Chef
or
Lewis
put
does
it-
enough. He doesn't
Or
have to.
put it in the regular chat, and we'll try
Yeah.
to figure it out for you. And we got a big one here. Okay, go ahead on this one, DJ Electrify.
Drew P. Balls, $19.99.
Yeah.
I
Thank
am
you, buddy.
behind, but I want to say that my original super chat was a sticker. I'm not a dog.
No, you're droopy balls.
That makes a little more sense now, I guess. But thank you, buddy. Either way,
All right,
Drew
and
P.
that's
Ball
all
is one of the Havre de Grace 5.
Oh, he was.
Yeah.
Who are the other 4? Or 3? So we can
Wait,
put-
maybe it's
make-
6. I'm trying to think. It's me, Justin Trudell, Drew P. Balls, Chef Lewis, Joe from Virginia, and Mark. So 6. The Havre de Grace 6.
Yeah, we got to get the statue made
Yes, absolutely.
outside of that concert hall. Not of any of the comedy, just the 6 guys who went and saw Tom Myers that one time.
We survived.
They give you a statue for less in LA. Hey, that's a Laker joke. All right. We have a 623 episode called The Melenders.
Oh, yeah, so this is just one last clip that I wanted to point out that this is, again, if we're talking hypocrisy here, this is John who says that he has been the victim of targeted harassment. Now, here's like where there is a moral gray area that I have always been against, but to an extent I understand the point. Because and the reason I've thought about it for a long time is because it started back when I was an intern for Barstool. People would say that Barstool does this, or people blame people with passionate audiences and fan bases. If Dave Portnoy gets in a feud with someone, you have the Stoolies going after them online. So then people would say, Dave Portnoy is responsible for the reaction that I'm getting online, the harassment. And I very much disagree with that. Now, sometimes, Portnoy would say shit that is kind of I get there's a moral gray area where, again, I don't think he's responsible for anyone online, but it's I get what they're trying to say ultimately. John is a big proponent of the opposite side of the argument that I'm making, where he would say that someone like Dave Portnoy is responsible for everything his fans do, because he went after Carl trying to get the Discord taken down or whatever it was, and saying this guy has racist fans and he's culpable. He's responsible for that. It's very interesting when the shoe is on the other foot where that goes in John's mind.
Kate, I have 853 people watching me now.
Ooh.
And they're all real. Kate, you don't think...
What a weird caveat. They're all real.
It kind of makes me think they're not.
Yeah, right. That's a weird thing to throw in there.
I didn't think that before you said that, but why would you say that?
I just assumed.
Oh, by the way, Death Row. Death Row. Stay cool in the heat wave. Say Death Row, box eating dad. That's still don't know what it means.
Yes. I'll never say it, but I appreciate the sentiment.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
That there are people that are going to now do the same shit that Shitway is fucking loser fans, if he even has them, do to me. Oh, make no mistake about it. They will. They will. Your phone number will get doxxed. Not by me.
What?
But it will get doxxed. Fact. Your mom's number will get doxxed. Not by me, but it will. It will. Fact.
John, you're literally telling people to release their information. You think you're wiping your hands clean by saying, I'm not going to do it, but someone that really likes me should. You're literally doing what you blame other people for doing. Like I said, I get the idea of someone should say, hey, we don't encourage harassing John. But I take it back. I don't really understand that, because we're all adults. We're all responsible for ourselves. If you fucking throw a Molotov cocktail through John's window, you shouldn't need Carl to tell you not to do that. So I take back where even the moral gray area. I don't really get what they're trying to say ultimately. But John is literally saying, not only don't do that, he's saying do it. He wants his fans, if there are any, to abuse these people. John, you don't hear this and hear how much of a villain you are? Hear how much worse you are what you accuse everyone of being. And that's what these people have tried to... You know what I'm thinking as I say this 2 hours into us doing this? Maybe our shows are too long to get the message across to John. He doesn't have a great attention span. Maybe we just laid it out in a 3-minute video. He'd watch it and be like, oh, now I get it.
His brain works in shorts.
Like
YouTube.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we gotta make all our points into a YouTube short and see if John comes across that.
Opus John. You just edit clips for John's brain.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, here's the last 10 seconds.
Your mom's number will get doxxed. Not by me, but it will. It will. Fact. That's a fact, Jack.
Okay, I wanted to get one more in before we got out of here.
I need my that's a fact, Jack. That's got to be a ringtone or something. I really like that.
Yeah, so it was exhausting. And like I said, when I went to bed Saturday night, I put on John just to fall asleep to, which gives you a little insight into what my dreams are like. But I just I put my headphones in and put John on, and I heard this, and I was like, well, I guess we're doing a show when I get back on Monday because he's losing his fucking mind. And he's driving around the country on this revenge tour. Supposedly he's going to stop by Kevin Brennan's house next. I don't know. It's fucking crazy. But those are my 2 cents on the matter. So I hope
Very
you guys
very
hope you guys
astute as
enjoy it.
always, Blind Mike. I think your commentary on this particular subject is actually good because you didn't initially start in the Dabbleverse and came from an outsider's point of view. So then you kind of got roped in. Sorry about that. But ever since then, your position is still from an outsider. So it really does give like an interesting point of view. I think that, a lot of people are real close.
Yeah.
And that gives you like a real good view of what's real close. But sometimes you want to see a bigger view, forest for the trees. And that's why it's always good to come to Blind Mike and listen to your commentary.
Well, thank you, buddy. Yeah, I try
Little
to step
washing,
back,
eh?
but that's how much of an asshole that John is. I literally tried to take the other side on this, and I was like, boy, he's not letting me, is he?
No, he doesn't let you. He will never let you get him on the high ground. It just doesn't happen.
By the way, can we do the thing? So this is like I'm just like an old lady that learned about technology a week ago. Can we do the thing? Like people are watching Cardiff at 8, right? Can we send them there, or is it
We
too
can't.
early?
No, we can't send them from you because you are a brand account.
Oh,
You remember? So initially, when you set up your account, this is a little boring, but we'll just do it 10 seconds. When you set up your account, Craig probably wasn't able just to be a producer. They didn't have that option yet, so you had to make a brand account so Craig could also access your account. And then they added
Gotcha.
producers, and producers is what DJ Electra is. It allows us to forward it because we're not a brand account. You're a brand account. You can't do it. Okay, fine.
Gotcha. All right, go watch Cardiff Electric.
Trust me, I
later.
tried. I tried to forward you to my show many times, and I wasn't able to do it. Didn't even tell you about it.
Go watch Cardiff Electric.
Yes. Go watch the potato.
What do you guys got going on?
Well, let's do one more super chat here real quick, just
Okay.
because it
All right,
came
all
in
right.
under the wire. DJ Electrify, you got this one?
Okay, Matthew Raleigh for $5. Carl stabbed you in the back by promoting a GoFundMe
Oh,
of
God,
a
why
woman 40% blind in one eye. You have no eyes. Where's your
Oh.
GoFundMe? I
No, that's
demand
not true. I
answers.
got a little left in both, so I'll
Nice.
allow that. I'll allow
Nice.
that. Don't worry, Matthew. Hold the dogs off for now. It's all right.
All right. Well, gearheads, be prepared. Stand back and stand by, gearheads. That's what we
right.
got to
Yeah.
say.
Keep an eye on this motherfucker.
Yes, and as far as for me and DJ Electrify, go to HACKRIDE on YouTube to follow us. HackRideTheDemon.com. DJ
You guys still
Electrify.
associate with that guy, huh?
Hell yeah.
We don't want to speak too loud around here about that. We can get in trouble. And more importantly, he's going to call him and he'll be on your show and you'll hate me again. I don't want to do that.
Rave reviews I don't know if you read the comments at all. Rave reviews for Casey Day last week.
Well, this is how you do it.
saw
You
that.
just have someone that sets it up with real shit, and then you come in and look like a hero. Thanks. Packride and Craig. It made me look like a
Smart
real
marketing, yeah.
hero. Yeah. It's the guy after the guy that's always the guy. You know what I'm saying? So find us at HackRideTheDemon.com, DJElectrify.com. Catch-22, we're starting tomorrow night, our second series, so catch that at 9 p.m. Eastern. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, DJ Electra has her awesome show in the midday. And then this Friday, we have Unboxing Eric, a commentary breakdown of the 800 calls from Eric the Midget to Howard Stern in sequential order. So calling all Eric the Midget fans this Friday to HackRide Studios channel.
I like
Thanks,
that.
Mike.
Kind of a sort of why you laughing-ish, I would say.
Right.
Yeah,
An
I like that.
An OCD breakdown, because then I'll be able to say in call 55 this happened. And his calls are so great. They deserve to have their own sort of individual worship.
That's
what we're
you know what I would say. Like if you guys like Why You Laughing, particularly like the Howard Stern breakdowns we've done, go check that out because I know that Casey's a big Stern fan and loved Eric the Midget, and I love Eric the Midget, so I'd be curious to watch that. Are you guys doing it call by call?
Call by call from call one. And the great
So
thing
you'll
is,
do. I mean, I imagine this will be many episodes.
Yeah. So we get about, I'd say about 6 to 10 calls in an episode. So,
Okay.
it is doable. And the great thing is we also got Luigi Greenberg, who is like the artist on, in the Dabbleverse for the face swaps. He's like the greatest artist that does those. You always see the Stuttering John images that he puts out. He's going to be doing all our art for Eric. So it's not just like a little radio show. There's going to be images, and Eric might even be doing super chats. So it's going to be a really, if you love Eric, We're giving a percentage of all the super chats to the Airlos Dan. Say it for me, DJ.
Ehlers Danlos?
Ehlers Danlos.
We all fuck it up. None of us know how to say it right.
I know
Fuck
how
you,
to
Eric.
say it. I have it,
Yes.
so I know how to say it.
Yes,
Oh,
and then also
boo-hoo, Electra.
I know,
then
right?
one last thing I just want to say. I don't have the thing with me, but producer Chris, if you know producer Chris from WATP,
Yeah.
there's a GoFundMe circling out there for, I believe, one of his family members. Make sure you donate to that because producer Chris is awesome. WATP is awesome, and we're also going to donate part of our any super chats from the first show of Eric to that GoFundMe because
nice.
that needs to be funded. Let's fund that
Yes.
bitch, baby.
Yeah. Oh,
Not the girl. The GoFundMe. Oh God, did I fuck that? Okay. Sorry.
Listen, Carl is stealing Daniel Alexander from me, but I don't think producer Chris is complicit in that. So don't let that weigh in your decision. He's a good man.
He doesn't do a lot over there. He just hangs out and looks cool, I think, is his thing.
Yeah, go support Casey Day and HACKRIDE. Go to hackridethedemon.com. DJElectra.com, is that it?
That's it.
DJElectrify.com.
Oh, that wasn't it.
I'll put it in the chat.
All right. Check those out. BlindMike.net is back, baby.
It is, yeah.
That's
Yep,
where all
I've been
our
putting
links
that
are.
in chat too.
All right. We will end this 40-minute infomercial we've been doing for the last the end of the show here. And let's get the fuck out of here, huh?
Let's get out of here, y'all. All right, everyone, have a great day. I'm going to move you over the scene. Bye-bye.